Rather than lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. Now, I've done a double upload, a double header, because I wanted to clarify on the situation around Alexander Zinchenko in the first video. And in this second video, we're going to be talking about Lucas Paqueta, Omari Hutchinson, Nicola Pepe, Austrian Trusty, and Alexander Zinchenko once again. So hit the like button for me. Let's get this video to 800 likes. Subscribe to the podcast as well. Like I said, this is a platform that reacts to the latest Arsenal stories as reported by the mainstream media. Now, I do not claim to be having sources inside the club, and I don't claim to be producing this content. I don't produce it. I react to it. So if you want a mainstream media, I would say ESPN, I would say Sky, I would say TalkSport, I would say The Athletic, all those. I mean, just tune into those. But this is a fun channel and I react to the latest. So I want to have people following me because they know what I'm doing and they do not think I'm doing what they think I'm doing, and that is not what I'm doing. I hope we understand and we live together harmoniously. Now, let's start off with Lucas Paqueta. Lucas Paqueta, a couple of sources in France are claiming, and also in Brazil, are claiming that the player has now agreed to join Arsenal Football Club. Now, that is very, very contrary to what The Athletic and the Ghana blog have actually provided this morning. Now, according to the Ghana blog, a very, very reliable source when it comes to Arsenal and very, very opinionated Arsenal content, and also The Athletic is one of those publications that have been very, very consistent when it comes to the Lucas Paqueta deal and the general situation around Arsenal transfers. They have reported and said that Lucas Paqueta is not a point of focus for Arsenal this summer after Arsenal signed in Fabio Vieira. That is what is happening. So, I mean, there are two stories here, one contrary to the other. Reports in Brazil claiming that Arsenal have been talking to Lucas Paqueta and talks are ongoing between Arsenal and FC Lyon at the moment to make sure that a deal can be concluded. And they also claim that Arsenal have been talking to Lucas Paqueta first to find an agreement, to get the consent of the player before bidding. And more reports have been claiming and have been understood to say that Arsenal are going to bid for Lucas Paqueta after receiving an agreement from the player and after receiving the consent of the player. Mikel Arteta personally talked to Lucas Paqueta and asked him whether he was willing to join the Premier League and also willing to join the Arsenal project. Now, reports claim Lucas Paqueta has given us the green light. He's agreed to join Arsenal. He's agreed to join our project. But The Athletic and the Ghana blog think otherwise. So The Athletic, which I want to talk about because they are the more credible source here, are saying that Arsenal wanted Lucas Paqueta and they wanted him as a player this summer. But after signing Fabio Vieira this summer, Mikel Arteta wants to sign other players in other priority areas, and that leaves out Lucas Paqueta. Now, I'm going to disagree with this story, and I'm 100% going to agree with them as well. Why I will disagree with them is that it doesn't make any sense. Signing Alexander Zinchenko, I understand right now, is a priority for Arsenal. And Alexander Zinchenko will provide Arsenal with two things. One, a backup left back, but also a player that can play in that central midfield area. Now, I understand that The Athletic and the Ghana blog are trying to capitalize on this. In my opinion, they're trying to say Zinchenko coming in is going to be playing as a central midfielder. Therefore, Lucas Paqueta won't be playing there. So they're trying to convince us that Alexander Zinchenko comes into Arsenal as a player who's going to be doubling as a central midfielder and also as a backup left back. Now, although the player can play in those roles, and I do not have any doubt in him, I don't think that is going to be the case. I don't think Arsenal are going to be leaving all that responsibility on Alexander Zinchenko. Yes, technically gifted. He's played in those areas before, and he predominantly plays as a central midfielder for Ukraine. But I don't think it's a reason to throw away the Yuri Tillemans deal and a reason to throw away the Lucas Paqueta deal. Look, Zinchenko can as well play as a central midfielder, can play in that midfield area. Of course, we understand that at the moment Xhaka stays. We do not have much more rumors confirming that Xhaka will be leaving. We had a couple of them from the Athletic in June, but now they have dried out. So it is one that it is one to keep our eyes on, whether Zinchenko comes in as a left back and also as a central midfielder. I don't believe that, and I'm not buying into it. I think the reason as to why Lucas Paqueta deal might actually collapse is because we are looking at Yuri Tillemans. Guys, let's remember the Martin Odegaard situation and the James Maddison situation last summer. Arsenal were reportedly very close to signing James Maddison, but the truth is our real priority, our real target last summer in terms of a number 10, as reported by Fabrizio Romano for a couple of months, was always Martin Odegaard. And it's the same journalist who's come out and said Mikel Arteta has agreed with Yuri Tillemans to sign him at Arsenal. Tillemans is waiting patiently. There is no reason for Arsenal to hurry for Yuri Tillemans, and there is no reason for Yuri Tillemans to get scared that the deal is not going to get completed. So for me, I'm not really pushing for the Lucas Paqueta deal. I'm not really forming an agenda for Lucas Paqueta, but I think my agenda is with Yuri Tillemans, and that's why every little single point of information that has come out pointing the way of Yuri Tillemans signing for Arsenal, I've done that story because I believe he is the next number 8 at Arsenal. This story has happened since January. It doesn't have any difference between it and what happened last summer with Martin Odegaard. There is no difference. There are players that Mikel Arteta loves. There are players that Mikel Arteta wants to be part of his project. He knows they will fit in there, and Arsenal are are always going to work on those deals patiently, slowly. There are deals that have, that always happen at the end of the transfer window, but they will happen. So for me, Yuri Tillemans, yes. Lucas Paqueta, if the deal is seen off, I won't be very surprised. I won't be very, very surprised. Now, The Athletic have also said that Arsenal are going to activate their plan B for Rafinha. Now, according to The Athletic, Nicola Pepe, Sevilla have stepped up their interest in the player. They have offered Arsenal a deal, which for me is a take and run deal. They have offered Arsenal 15 million euros in terms of guaranteed payments, and the figure would rise up to 18 to 20 million euros in add-ons or performance-related fees. So, The Athletic are saying Arsenal will now activate their plan B for an attacker. Their plan A was Rafinha, but now they will go to plan B. It is not Lucas Paqueta, according to The Athletic, and at the moment, we do not know who the player is. But I've had a couple of people arguing with me on Nicola Pepe. Nicola Pepe moving to Sevilla is a very nice deal for him as a player. It's a very nice deal. It's a deal that he should be thinking about with open arms. It's a deal that he should be welcoming with open arms. And he should be very happy that a club of the stature of Sevilla are even considering signing him, because he's not a bad player. He's a talented player. He can work well in La Liga. But at the moment, we have to agree that he's not even marketable. He's not marketable. Because Chelsea are signing Omari Hutchinson from Arsenal, and they've been fighting. There's been a huge fight between Arsenal and Chelsea for us to keep the player and them to take him, and they've taken him. They've won the race. But Pepe, there is no struggle. There is no struggle to keep him, and even then, there is no club interested in him. So for me, it only makes sense. Pepe goes to Sevilla, goes to the Spanish La Liga, where it is a little bit slow and it's a little bit soft. I think he can work. His skills are really going to work there, and he will have enough time on the ball. In the Premier League, you do not have that time on the ball. right? So he goes to Sevilla. It creates space for Arsenal to bring in a player who I think Mikel Arteta will have signed himself, and the player that Mikel Arteta will eventually believe in. So Arsenal are going to activate their plan B in terms of an attacker if Nicola Pepe leaves the club. Sevilla have given us 15 million euros. It's a take and run. Look, Arsenal wanted 25 million pounds. No one is gonna give us that. A few clubs will look around. They'll try to test the deal. Eventually, it will be a loan deal, or a loan plus an obligation to buy, or a loan plus an option to buy. So if there is a club that's going to give us 15 million euros, we should pick up our losses and walk away. So it's a take and run. Now, Austin Trusty, the player we signed in January as a left back, has signed for Birmingham City on loan. He was never going to play for us first team, and it was never going to play for us in the under 23. So he's joined Birmingham City on loan. That is a done deal. Omari Hutchinson is another player I wanted to talk about in this video. He has joined Chelsea on a permanent deal. He has joined the Chelsea under 23s on a permanent deal. He has failed to agree a deal with Arsenal. Talks with Arsenal happened, but they actually broke down. Now, Omari Hutchinson is a player that I'm actually very, very hard to hear that he's gone to a rival like Chelsea, because he's a player that I liked a lot. He's a player that I really loved a lot. Arsenal have tried to do whatever they can, but they failed to agree a deal. But these are his statistics. He played one season with the under 18s, and he scored 7 goals and assisted 7 times in 20 appearances. Then he moved on to play with the Arsenal under 21, 4 games, only 4 games, and he scored 2 goals in those 4 games and assisted once. And last season with the under 23s, he only played 17 games and scored 6 goals and assisted 5 times. This is a talent. Honestly, this is a talent that Arsenal have been grooming well. We had groomed him very, very well. And it's a shame that he's gone. He's one of those few players that I've looked at in a couple of preseason games. I'm not really going to lie. I don't follow the Arsenal under 23s a lot. But I've seen him play. I've seen him play in a couple of preseason games, even last campaign, and he's exciting. He's absolutely exciting. And just like Harry Simeo has said, look, I don't understand what has taken him to Chelsea, because in terms of breaking through, I think he was very, very close to breaking through into the Arsenal senior side. It's going to be very hard for him to break through the Chelsea side, in my opinion, as compared to breaking through the Arsenal side. I would want to also hear where the contracts broke down, where the contract talks broke down. What actually happened that forced the player out of contract negotiations with Arsenal and was more lucratively offered by Chelsea. But Omari Hutchinson, it's a here we go from Fabrizio Romano, so nothing. There's nothing to pick up here, but it's a bad one. Yeah, it's a bad one. I thought Arsenal could keep him, but of course you can't keep all of them.